Very good. So if you call it to order and then turn it over to me. Okay,
Yes.
so you're the collector, so if you call a proceeding to order and then turn it over
Okay,
to me.
so do I just say?
Yep, just say that.
Okay, I call the proceeding to order, and I'm going to
Turn it over to me.
turn it over to you. Sorry.
Sorry for those listening in. We have not done this online before, so things may be a little bit rough around the edges. This is the 2020 tax sale for properties that are currently delinquent on their property taxes. The upset prices will be listed as I go through each of the three properties that we currently have for sale. I'll call for bids for each of the three properties. The tax sale will remain active until 11 a.m. this morning. The upset price or your bid must be paid on or before 11 a.m. this morning, or the sale is deemed not to have proceeded. We have the option of continuing this sale from day to day until the properties are sold, or declaring the sale over and the Village of Cache Creek as the purchaser. All right, the first property is a mobile home at Bay Number 2, Sage and Sands Mobile Home Park, 701 Trans-Canada Highway. The legal description is Bay 2, Lot A, Plan Number 29044, District Lot 103, Kamloops Division, Yale Land District. The upset price on that property is $1,591.16. We have not received any sealed bids in advance. Are there any potential purchasers out there who would like to bid on it at the minimum upset price? For a second time, are there any interested purchasers for the mobile home at Bay Number 2, Sage and Sands Mobile Home Park for an upset price of $1,591.16? For a third and final time, are there any interested purchasers for mobile home at Bay Number 2, Sage and Sands Mobile Home Park for the upset price of $1,591.16? I will move on to the second property. This is the mobile home at Bay Number 14, Sage and Sands Mobile Home Park. Legal description, Bay 14, Lot A, Plan Number 29044, District Lot 103, Kamloops Division of Yale Land District. And the upset price on that property is $1,755.18. Are there any interested bidders? For a second time, the mobile home at Bay Number 14, Sage and Sands Mobile Home Park, upset price $1,755.18. For a third and final time, mobile home at Bay Number 14, Sage and Sands Mobile Home Park, upset price $1,755.18. Very well, I'll move on to the third and last property. This is a mobile home at Bay Number 31, Sage and Sands Mobile Home Park. Legal description is Bay 31, Lot A, Land Number 29044, District Lot 103, Kamloops Division, Yale Land District. The upset price on this property is $1,507.10. For a second time, mobile home at Bay Number 31, Sage and Sands Mobile Home Park, upset price $1,507.10. For a third and final time, mobile home at bay number 31, Sage and Sands Mobile Home Park, upset price $1,507.10. Are there any bids? Hearing no bids, the tax sale is concluded, and the Village of Cache Creek is will be declared the purchaser for those three properties. Thank you all for listening in.
Hello, my name is Gareth. You're watching the Hub Online Network. Today we're talking about the throne speech, more election stuff coming out from BC, and the Village has received an honorable mention. But let's get to it. So Interior Health is advising anyone who attended the pub in the Coldwater Hotel in Merritt on September 19th between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. to self-monitor for symptoms of COVID-19. And the Village received an honorable mention at this year's Union of BC Municipalities Community Excellence Awards. Chief Financial Officer Yogi Bala's Asset Management Plan was recognized. Congratulations, Yogi, on that. Cache Creek. Lots of people are wondering if there will be a Halloween fireworks display in Cache Creek this year. As it has been the tradition for many years, the Cache Creek firefighters say the answer is yes, and they hope that it'll be bigger and better than ever. Don't forget to fill out the Cache Creek Cannabis Survey. You can find the link on the Cache Creek Info Facebook page, and today is the last day to fill it out, so remember to have your say. From the interior, primary care networks are teams of care providers who work together with the patient while sharing information to achieve well-coordinated, seamless, and accessible care. Primary care networks are tailored to suit the specific needs of the population within a region and designed with input from the population. All part of the collaborative partnership committed to providing a full range of culturally safe, team-based health services. This formal collaboration between healthcare providers in a local area makes it easier for patients to access and navigate health services, improving their overall experience of the system and leading to a healthier people and communities, which is pretty awesome. We've heard lots of people talk about that around the area, so that sounds like a very positive thing, especially in a rural setting. From the province, the government is reporting 148 new cases from Wednesday to Thursday. We do not have today's numbers yet, but we will catch you up on that on Tuesday. And as BC prepares to go to the polls on October 24th, each of the three main parties have come out swinging, talking policy and throwing some jabs. Here is what the main parties have on their Facebook pages today. So for the NDP, John Horgan's BC NDP are building a recovery for everyone by investing in hospitals, senior care, and schools by supporting BC workers and helping everyone get back on track. Let's keep BC moving. For the Liberals didn't so much have something that they were talking about, but they had 32 re-elect signs on their Facebook page, so including Jackie Taggart, who is the incumbent for Fraser-Nicola area. So it's 32 pictures on their Facebook page, and if you click on the pictures, it takes you to their information about each individual candidate that is on the Liberal website. For the Greens, they say, despite leader Sonia Furstenau's, I gotta learn how to say that name, reassurance to Premier Horgan of the BC Greens' commitment to a stable government last Friday, that wasn't enough for him. What he wanted and what was not part of the agreement was absolute and total obedience to the NDP. That's what the Greens are saying. Now, taking a broader look at the country, Justin Trudeau and the Lieutenant Governor gave the throne speech on Wednesday, highlighting several things that they wanted to do amid the pandemic. 5 of the highlights included the fight against COVID-19 emerged as a top priority with the threat of a second wave looming. Some might say that we're in the second wave now. But looming in Canada and around the world, the government promised to ramp up testing capabilities throughout the country, including in remote and isolated communities. The need to tackle climate change was also emphasized. So Canada committed to reducing its greenhouse gas emissions by 30% below 2005 levels by 2030, but it is currently lagging behind in achieving this goal. The speech recognized the need to do more to tackle climate change. The government said it would legislate Canada's goal of net zero emissions by 2050 and bring forward a plan aimed at exceeding the initial 2030 target. Next was addressing systemic racism was on the agenda. The speech emphasized the need to stand up for the values that define Canada, including by addressing systemic racism in a way that's informed by the experiences of racialized and Indigenous peoples. While steps have been taken towards fighting racial injustice, the speech acknowledged much more needed to be done for transformative change to take place. The government promised to identify additional ways to tackle extreme wealth inequality, with the COVID-19 pandemic highlighting existing inequalities among Canadians. The government said it would rebalance the scales by addressing extreme wealth inequality. The speech said constraints would be imposed to limit the stock option deduction for wealthy individuals at large, established corporations. The government also pledged to take on corporate tax avoidance by digital giants. And lastly, the need to protect the most vulnerable from the disproportionate effects of the pandemic was highlighted, stressing the disproportionate impact the COVID-19 pandemic has had on specific groups, including low-income women, young people, and racialized Canadians. The government said it would do its utmost to ensure a feminist intersectional response to this pandemic and recovery. The Conservatives in the Bloc did not think that this plan was responsible. Before the proroguing of Parliament, both of those parties were on the verge of giving a vote of no confidence, and we will have to wait and see what they do now. However, the NDP is slow to jump on that bandwagon, citing that the throne speech does have some merit, but it doesn't go far enough on healthcare issues. And as for Brad Viss, he was in Parliament today talking about housing, as he is the housing shadow minister. He says on his Facebook page, there was nothing new in the throne speech to help Canadians worried about their health, their homes, their loved ones, their jobs, and now they're going to pay their bills through the winter. How are they going to pay their bills through the winter? Justin Trudeau had an opportunity to lay out a plan to help the millions of Canadians who are struggling. Instead, he left Canadians behind once again. Now, this is a very short show. That's pretty much it for me. So Marilyn Anderson, wherever you are, if you're watching, we hope you're doing well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you all on Tuesday. Hello, my name is Gareth Smart. You're watching the Hub Online Network. We have a relatively quick show for you guys today, but let's get to it. All right, so we're going to start off on what's going on in Ashcroft. There's a special council meeting, of council taking place in the Ashcroft Council chambers Wednesday, September 30th at 9:30 a.m. The topics of discussion include the government street development and the possible bylaw officer partnership with Cache Creek and Clinton. I know that Cache Creek was talking about that at their council meeting last night, September 28th. So that's awesome. We haven't had a bylaw officer here ever since I've lived here, so that would be great, fantastic news. And the government street development was brought up at the last council meeting in Ashcroft. So if you want to see, right off the about 2 or 3 delegations in is when the representative for the Landucci group, Sandro Tallarico, got up and did a delegation for the Ashcroft Council. So if you want to go check out what that is all about, you can go to the previous council video on the Hub Online Network and check that out for yourself. Elections BC has found their voting area in Ashcroft, or the place that you can go vote. That is going to be in the gym at the Ashcroft Hub starting October 17th for advanced polling. So they're going to be doing, you can vote for a whole week in advance. So that's pretty great, especially with COVID restrictions that are going on. So pick your time, get out and vote, and it'll be at the Ashcroft Hub in Ashcroft. Once we know what's going on in Cache Creek, we, of course, will let you all know. And on October 15th, the Hub Online Network will be holding an all-candidates meeting at 6 p.m. So we're going to be hosting the NDP, the Liberals, and the Green members. You can have your say and ask your questions by sending them in advance to hon@ashcrofthub.com. I don't have a thing for that, but hon@ashcrofthub.com. So send that in to us. Also, at that time, the Hub Online Network will also be doing long-form interviews with all of the candidates, so you can have an opportunity to get to know them a little bit better. There'll be a little bit more relaxed interviews, the ones that we normally do, where people sort of have a chance to have their say. So they can, instead of, like at the all candidates meeting, people will only get 1 minute to answer a question or 30 seconds to rebuttal. This will give the candidates an opportunity to really talk about what they want to do, how they want to do it, that kind of stuff. So that'll be a lot of fun for me because I enjoy politics, and hopefully it'll be informational for everybody at home. In Cache Creek, the village of Cache Creek had a property tax sale on Monday, September 28th. Ashcroft will be doing theirs next week, I believe, live in the arena. But they did it live through the Hub Online Network in Cache Creek. So the village of Cache Creek held a property tax sale on Monday, September 28th. There were 3 things up for grabs, all of which were trailers in the Sage and Sands Mobile Home Park in Cache Creek. The sale was held on a live stream on the Hub Online Network. Each mobile home that were being sold were about $1,200 each, with no bids on any other properties. The village said that they would be taking them over, and the homeowners will have 1 year, still have 1 year to pay those their owed property taxes before they take any actual action against them. So if you're one of the 3 people that have their home that's going to be taken over for property tax purposes, you still have a year to pay those taxes before the village of Cache Creek takes them over. The Cache Creek Council meeting last night also took place on September 28th. Everyone but Councillor Lisa Defoe was in attendance. Some highlights included Councillor Annette Pittman asking to have a conversation in regards to last council's minutes during the in-camera portion of the meeting. I won't speculate. Councillors Wendy Coomber and Sue Peters spoke about their experience during the virtual UBCM, or Union of British Columbia's Municipalities. They said that the series of workshops and meetings were definitely different this year because the election was called a day before the event, which called all of the ministers away as they are not officially available. Several groups, including the Equality Project and the Roman Catholic Church, were given a presumptive tax exemption in Cache Creek. The meeting was about 20 minutes long and was attended by myself of the Hub Online Network and Barbara Roden of the Ashcroft Cache Creek Journal. From the interior, so we're going to talk about some election stuff. So at this moment in time, the current people riding in the Fraser-Nicola riding, which covers Hope, Merritt, Boston Bar, Lytton, Ashcroft, Cache Creek, Lillooet, and then there's a big area that runs through Manning Park down to the border. The people running in that area are incumbent Jackie Taggart for the Liberal Party, Aaron Sutsumetsa for the NDP, and Jonah Timms for the Greens, although this is not an official pick at this time due to a last-minute entry. The Provincial Green Party, so someone else has put their papers in for the Green Party in this riding as well. So the Green Party has until the end of tomorrow to have their nominee picked. There are currently no independent people that we know of in this race. The Fraser-Nicola riding has been looked at heavily from the leadership of each party, as it is considered a swing riding. Before Jackie Taggart won in a by-election 5 years ago, this riding was NDP. And in the last election, Jackie only won by just over 500 votes. Since at this time only the Liberal and NDP nominees are decided, we will follow what is going on their social media pages. So, Jackie Taggart says, meeting with voters may look different this campaign. It is great to see everyone at the Cache Creek Farmers Market. Supporting our local entrepreneurs is more important than ever. And there were a few pictures. We didn't get official allowance to use those pictures, so we didn't. But there are some pictures of her shaking hands at the Cache Creek Market. And Aaron Sumexeletsa, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to get really good at these last names because some of them are are interesting, stated that John Horgan cut MRI waiting times in half for this in his first term, and a BC NDP government will introduce 4 more MRI machines to keep BC moving forward for everyone. And if you've ever been a person trying to get an MRI, you know how difficult it is to do in BC. Now, in the province, there has been 267 new cases of COVID since we last reported on Friday. We don't have the numbers for today yet, but we'll talk about that on this coming Friday, for a total of 8,908 cases in BC alone since all of this started. Over to the upcoming election. Other than the upcoming election and COVID, there isn't too much on governmental news. So here is what the provincial parties are saying as a whole. So from the BC NDP, it says requesting a mail-in ballot is easy and only takes a couple of minutes at electionsbc.ca. Once you fill in your ballot, remember to mail it right away. I'm sure that they want to try and get as many mail-in ballots in as they can. And I think that mail-in ballots are different than advanced mail-in ballots. So just keep that in mind. From the BC Liberals, Andrew Wilkinson's BC Liberals have a plan to restore confidence and rebuild BC. They say that our plan is to eliminate the PST, which will create jobs and make life more affordable for everyone. An average family of 4 will save $1,700 a year. That's immediate cash that stays in your pocket. Let's restore confidence and rebuild a healthy British Columbia. Vote BC Liberal. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying vote BC Liberal. I'm saying that this is what is on their social media pages. I'm just taking the last thing that they posted, and I'm reading you guys what the last thing is. So I'm not saying anything specific. I'm just giving out information. The BC Greens are saying, announcing our next list of outstanding candidates. Quote, I am inspired by the passion and dedication of the candidates who have stepped forward during a pandemic snap election, says leader Sonia Frstenu. And breaking from what I said earlier, and breaking news from what I personally said earlier, Jonah Tims is on the list of candidates running for the Greens. So that is interesting. So from Jonah, let's include him. So here's from Jonah's social media. There were no posts from Jonah Tim himself. However, the first things that pops up is a news article that asks the question, has the NDP kept its environmental promises? And another one that's stating, in BC's election of dueling blackguards, Andrew Wilkinson's is the worst. You can find, of course, both of these opinion pieces on Jonah Tim's Facebook page. But hopefully we can get him typing out some actual things that he's up to, and we'll be able to pass those along to you. So taking a look at our MP, Brad Viss, he says that this morning I met with the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 57. Like all branches across Canada, COVID-19 is having a major negative impact on their ability to serve veterans. I took a small step of joining my local Legion, and I encourage everyone to consider joining as a way to support our local veterans. Our local Legion expects to see a 50% reduction in funds raised this year through the annual Poppy campaign, as they will be unable to have volunteers out in shopping malls, community centers, schools, etc. As we will be seeing less of the Poppy donation boxes, please don't wait to donate and consider mailing or dropping off a check to support our local Royal Canadian Legion veterans and their families. The Hub Online Network has done a couple of interviews with Mr. Viss, and we are going to have a third one lined up for October 14th. So if you have questions for him, please email us at hon@ashcrofthub.com, and we would be more than happy to ask him your questions and go from there. So, like I said, that was quick. It was just shy of 11 minutes. So that is it for today. Joan Henderson, if you are watching, we hope that you're having a fantastic day, and we'll see you all on Friday. Hello, everyone. You're watching the Hub Online Network. My name is Gareth. Happy October. Happy Friday. It's just after 3 o'clock. Sorry, I'm a little bit late today. Today, we're talking pretty much elections, but with a little bit of Ashcroft and Cache Creek thrown in there. So let's get to it. So, in Ashcroft, at a special meeting of the Ashcroft Council, that they had to have for a few time-sensitive items that needed to be voted on, including deciding on pursuing a joint bylaw officer with Cache Creek and Clinton, and deciding which staff recommendation to go with regarding the drainage study needed for the new subdivision plan for Government Street. So the outcome of the Government Street study vote was that the village would put up the money for the study while applying for a grant, and then pass on whatever is left owing after the grant is applied to the developers of the subdivision per building, structure, home. So if the project costs $80,000 and the grant covers 60, then the developers will have $20,000 worth to pay back to the village. But it'll be divided up between the developers per building. So that is what they decided with that. And I believe that they also decided to go with working with Cache Creek and Clinton to have a bylaw officer. So that would be interesting, as we haven't had one here. So with all the bylaws going on, it would be interesting to have a person that can actually pursue going after people for those bylaws. Now I've had an opportunity to sit down with Dan Collett. He is the representative from the Ashcroft Slough Society, and you can check out the rest of this interview, as well as one that I did with Patty Kinvig from the Ashcroft Terminal. And you can also see a video of Dan and myself getting around the now off-limits train bridge to get to a safe path that would take you to the slough. You can check all of those out on the Hub Online Network YouTube channel, and the interview with Dan will be up after this video is done. So let's check out just a few minutes of what Dan and I talked about, and I'll be right back. Dan, what is the Ashcroft Slough Society?
Well, the Ashcroft Slough Society is a group of user groups that have been using the slough for recreational purposes, and we are more knitted together now as an actual society. So it used to be a loose group of individuals interested in getting access to regaining access to the slough, and now we're an actual society, and we're moving forward.
What does it take? I have nobody in the studio to help me out today, so I'm trying to do the tech stuff as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, what does it take? Because this happened pretty quick. So what does it take to become a society?
Well, you have to fill out the forms and get the name approved, and have an executive, and list those people and so on, and what your intentions are, and have a mission statement, and have a constitution, those kinds of things. So we had to nail all that down and send it in, and we got approved as ashcroftsloughsociety.com. And then, yeah, and the reason that we felt that we had to do it is that we realized that we weren't going to be taken seriously as a bunch of individuals together unless we were a formal group.
So in the society, do you have a specific title that you hold?
Yes, I'm member at large.
So you're not like the treasurer, you're not the president, you're not vice president, you're not on those 7 titled.
Well, member at large is an important voting member, but I don't have a specific title except that I've been asked to represent our society in talks such as this, and be the spokesperson.
All right, so let's walk me through, because I know some things about this particular situation, but let's pretend that I don't.
Yeah.
Talk me through what happened to get us here to where the Ashcroft Slough Society had to be formed.
Okay, well, construction started out at Ashcroft Terminal in about 2008, and during those early years, access was still available to the public off of Evans Road in 3 locations, and it was a walk of about 5 minutes to get down to the slough. And at the time, the public was told that access was being considered of how they were going to maintain public access for down there, because Ashcroft Terminal knows how important it is to the public here, to Ashcroft people. But then, of course, construction moves ahead. It becomes more dangerous, and naturally, with the twinning of all the lines for CN and so on, those crossings are no longer viable, and we understand that. In fact, Ashcroft Slough Society is very much a proponent of Ashcroft Terminal and the expansion that they're doing. We, just like them, want our children to have places to work and have prosperity here. So when the access points were taken away and that part of Evans Road was no longer accessible and they put in a gate, we have a young lady from town put out on Facebook. She put out a petition, and that petition very quickly became had signatures of around 800 people that really wanted to see access to the slough, knowing that those 3 points were taken away. So we started getting together as groups of people, and when the Ashcroft Terminal decided to put together a community working group, some of us applied for that and were accepted as part of the group, thinking that what they wanted for us as a community was an alternative way of getting into the slough. That's what we really thought they were getting at.
So that was an interesting interview. And again, after this episode of the Ash Creek News, I'll make sure I have that posted up onto YouTube for your perusal. Now, just a few things about what's going on at the Hub Online Network. We have dissolved our website. So what that means is the email addresses that we had, we no longer have. So for my own self, you can email me at hanjournalist@ashcrofthub.com. Now, the reason I'm putting this up now is because we have a bunch of interviews coming up with the local people running in the riding for the upcoming election. So it'd be great to have your questions for them. We're doing a all candidates meeting on the 15th of October, and I'm also going to be doing longer form interviews with all of the candidates. So please, if you have any questions, or even for Brad Viss, I'm having a chat with our MP Brad Viss on the 14th of October. So it would be awesome to have your questions, your comments, your concerns, so I can pass them along to our people that may or may not be in power. So please send in your questions to hanjournalist@ashcrofthub.com. Now, from Wednesday to Thursday, we had 82 new cases of COVID in the province, and from Tuesday to Wednesday, 125 new cases. So we're still averaging about 100 and something cases a day. I'm not sure what the new numbers are. I'll see if I can find those during the next video. But let's talk about some provincial politics. So, record numbers requesting mail-in vote packages for BC election. This is a story done by Barbara Roden, our local editor-in-chief at the Ashcroft Cache Creek Journal. So thank you, Barbara, for providing this. Provincial election will be taking place, of course, on October 24th, and voting by mail numbers are expected to skyrocket because of COVID-19 pandemic. Elections BC, which oversees voting for the election, is releasing the estimated number of vote by mail packages requests they receive, with the figure updated every weekday. The estimate reflects the cumulative number of vote by mail package requests received by Elections BC. It does not represent the number of vote by mail packages issued to date or the number of mail-in ballots that will be considered for counting. This is because voters may not return their vote by mail package by the deadline, and all vote by mail packages must be screened before being accepted for counting. During the 2017 provincial election, some 6,500 British Columbians chose to vote by mail. As of Tuesday, September 29th, more than 431,000 requests for vote by mail packages had been received. According to Elections BC, the agency can process up to 200,000 mail-in ballots in time for the final count, which is legislated to begin at no less than 13 days after Election Day on October 24th, which would be November 6th. However, it is estimated that up to 35% of voters, or 800,000 people, could choose to mail in their ballot, which might mean a delay in determining the final election results. All that being said, if you're wanting to vote in Ashcroft, we don't know where they're going to go in Cache Creek yet, but in Ashcroft, Elections BC is holding the vote in the Ashcroft hub. In the gym, so there's going to be some training for the people that are going to handle the ballots and the voting, and then be from August 17th to the 24th, you can come in and vote early. So vote early if you want to avoid as many people as possible for COVID. What was the other thing I was going to say? It'll come back to me. So so now let's talk about our local people here. So local NDP, here he is, Aaron Sumexsa. I'm so sorry. And when the guy comes in here, I'm going to get his name properly. I should try and find out before he shows up. But anyway, so what he says on his social media is, what can government do to further improve healthcare services? As your BC NDP candidate for MLA, I am committed to improving healthcare services, decreasing wait times, and making sure all who require healthcare have access to it. So that is Aaron, and he is going to be going up against incumbent Jackie Taggart, as well as a gentleman named Jonah Timms. Now, unfortunately, he has nothing new on his social media page. We talked about him last time. He had a couple of articles posted to his page, but nothing that he has written himself. So he is running for the BC Greens, however. So that I'm looking forward to talking to him. Jackie actually has, instead of reading you something that she's done, she actually has a little video. So let's check that out.
My name is Jackie Taggart, and I have been the proud MLA of Fraser-Nicola for the last 7 years. I'm asking for your support on October 24th. When you fill out your ballot, vote for Taggart. Vote for the future of British Columbia.
So thank you, Jackie, for sharing that on your Facebook page. It makes my job a little easier. Now we have an interesting story. So this is former Fraser-Nicola NDP riding executive member to run as independent. So the story, and this is again written by Barbara Roden, so thank you, Barbara, for this. After some initial confusion, the BC Green Party has officially named Jonah Timms, as mentioned before, as its candidate for Fraser-Nicola. The riding might also gain an independent candidate, with Dennis Adamson confirming that he will be running without any party affiliation. Last week, the BC Green Party Riding Association in Fraser-Nicola said that it had not yet confirmed a candidate, and that the announcement that Timms has been acclaimed as the candidate has been made in error. On September 29th, Timms was confirmed named as the Green Party candidate in the riding. On the same day, Adamson declared that he had withdrawn his application to run for the Green Party and planned to run as an independent, and was working to gather the signatures he needed to file as a candidate before October 2nd deadline. Adamson was vice president for the BC NDP Fraser-Nicola Riding Association until the weekend of September 11th, when he and the other 12 members of the executive resigned in protest over the naming of Aaron by the provincial NDP as the party's candidate in the riding. While initial reports indicated that members of the executive planned to work to undermine Aaron, Adamson walked that back in an interview with the Journal. Thinking he could raise the profile of the BC Greens and help them win the riding, Adamson, currently an area director for the Fraser Valley Regional District, then put his name in to become a candidate for the party. Adamson is discouraged by the way political parties function. Quote, all parties are the same with control over what you say, and I have to say whatever I see is wrong. It's just part of me. I didn't want to work with a party anymore. Securing an election victory or an independent has traditionally been exceedingly difficult in a first-past-the-post electoral system. Despite this, Adamson said he believes an independent would work harder for their constituents and could represent true democracy. So that's an interesting thing. And I have heard that there's possibly even a fifth person running. I couldn't find out what that person's name was, but again, we're going to be having an all-candidates meeting and an interview with all of these people around the 15th of October. Now, taking a look more provincially, I've taken all of the political ads that the NDP, the Greens, and the Liberals have done over the last week, I guess, because it's only really been a week. And I've sort of mushed them all together. So they're not in any particular order, but this is the commercial videos that these three parties have come out with.
Hello. Hey, man. It's John Horgan. We just got into Richmond. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Well, we're doing really well, but everything's going all right on the campaign? Everything's up and running?
Absolutely. We had a great kickoff yesterday. We did a Burma shave and a great turnout. I think about 20 volunteers, all distancing socially and standing on different corners. Lots and lots of honks, real support for the government. I really see a positive outcome here.
Well, that sounds great. We're really looking forward to seeing you and talking to people in Richmond about the important services that they want to see continue, like healthcare, education, access to childcare. Those are the things people talk to us about. I don't know what the Liberals are doing, but as far as I'm concerned, let's focus on people and what they need.
I'm very excited and looking forward to meeting with you.
Excellent. We'll see you soon, man.
Thanks. Take care, man.
Hey everyone, John Horgan here. We just called the election. Now I know it's not what we all thought we would be doing when 2020 got started, but this pandemic has set us all back. Everything's changed, and there are unprecedented challenges ahead of us. I know some people are asking, why now? And I've got to tell you, I struggled with this decision. It was not easy, but I believe in my heart it's the best decision for all of us. Right now, we need to know that people are with us in our plan to fight this pandemic and build an economic recovery that works for everyone. We can't afford to be sidetracked by another 12 months of partisan politics, another year where the other parties can turn us back when we try to make decisions to help people. The choices, to me, are clear. The BC Liberals are pushing for changes that benefit the wealthy and the well-connected at your expense. We have a plan to keep you safe and to make life better and more affordable for people. We've accomplished a lot on what matters most to people, and there's a lot of work ahead of us. The question now is, where do British Columbians want to go, and who do they want to lead them? I'm asking for your support to keep BC on the right track. Like a lot of things these days, this election is going to be different from the one we had 3.5 years ago. But I know we can do it safely. And together, we can keep BC moving forward, not for the people at the top, but for everyone. This pandemic will be with us for a year or more, and that's why I believe we need to have an election now. We can either delay that decision and create uncertainty and instability over the next 12 months, more speculation, more talk about what might be, or we can do what I believe is always the right thing and ask British Columbians what they think. I believe the best way forward is to put the politics behind us. Let's address the differences we may have now so that we can all come together after the 24th of October, focused as we should be on the needs of all British Columbians.
I made the decision to call an election last Saturday morning after I got out of bed. I talked to my spouse. I contacted my staff. They informed the Lieutenant Governor that we were going to meet on Monday.
Well, I think we knew an election was coming, and I think we've known that for a few weeks now.
A BC Liberal government will immediately eliminate the provincial sales tax for a full year, saving you money right away, making life more affordable, getting more people working, and bringing investment back to BC. Because BC families and small businesses are struggling, and right now they need help. Our plan will provide huge savings to people at a time when they need it most. This is an unprecedented tax cut for an unprecedented time. Since everybody pays PST, everybody saves under our BC Liberal plan right away. Let's restore confidence and rebuild a better BC together. British Columbia isn't just a beautiful place to live. It's home to hard-working, big-hearted people who want a better life for themselves and their families. We're facing hard times right now, and that's why BC needs a real plan to keep people safe and rebuild our economy. I want to serve you as Premier of BC with a renewed and exciting BC Liberal team who will bring back prosperity, growth, and hope for the future. We believe that no matter the challenge, our brightest days are still ahead of us.
Hello, I'm Sonia Firstnow. I was only BC Green's leader for a week before John Horgan called an unnecessary snap election, but I'm ready to fight for a stronger province. BC needs a green recovery that will make our communities more secure, affordable, and sustainable. You deserve representatives that will put your day-to-day quality of life above their own political self-interests. This election, vote BC Green.
Authorized by the BC Green Party. While British Columbians are doing our part to get through the pandemic, the NDP is playing risky games with our future. They called an unnecessary pandemic election so they can cling to power. Andrew Wilkinson will restore our confidence and rebuild BC. Andrew Wilkinson's BC Liberals have a plan to restore confidence and rebuild BC. Our plan to eliminate the PST will create jobs and make life more affordable for everyone. Let's restore confidence and rebuild a healthy British Columbia. Vote BC Liberal.
And I did say this morning in my Facebook post, I said thanks to the NDP because there were 100 things they could have done to stop this project if they'd wanted to. And they were opposed to it for a long time. They fought it for a long time. They were critical of it. And then when they became government, they changed their position.
Today, LNG Canada has sent a signal to the people of the world that British Columbia and Canada are open for business.
Local businesses are at the heart of BC's economy and our communities. Too many businesses have been shut down in this pandemic, and many are just scraping by. All the NDP released was a failed economic plan that was months delayed and does not meet the needs of BC businesses. As long as the NDP are in power, there will be no economic recovery in BC. This is an emergency. Andrew Wilkinson has a strong, smart economic recovery plan. He will restore our confidence and rebuild BC.
So yeah, that's all the ones I could find. I think that I might have doubled one up by accident, but anyway, let me know what you all think, either by commenting on this video, or you can, of course, email me at hanjournalist@ashcrofthub.com. And last but not least for today, we're going to take a look at our MP and see what he's been up to. So MP Brad Viss has had another opportunity to represent the Mission-Matsqui-Fraser Canyon riding in Parliament. Recently, he has become the shadow minister for the opposition party for housing, and this is a clip reflecting that position.
Matsqui-Fraser Canyon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I begin, I just want to wish Aaron and his wife, Rebecca, a quick recovery from COVID-19. Et j'ai adressé le même souhait à M. Blancet et sa famille aussi. The member from Durham. My apologies, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Still a rookie move. A couple of points about the throne speech. The Liberal government's throne speech repeated false, previously debunked claims that their programs have helped 1 million people being housed. Parliamentary Secretary Vaughan is on record in the Toronto Star stating, I mean, obviously we've double counted on rhetorical advantage, and I quote, "This is irresponsible and the worst possible way to start a conversation addressing housing in Canada." Point number 2, the newly announced Detailed Light Rapid Housing Initiative throws $1 billion taxpayer dollars at a Band-Aid solution to provide 3,000 units between now and March. That breaks down to $333,000 per unit. With an already poor track record of getting infrastructure money out the door, how will this program be different? What will the quality of these units be? Thirdly, on the first-time home buyers plan, the Liberals' only solution to address affordable home ownership is to take a share of a Canadian's mortgage. As a Conservative, I fundamentally disagree with this co-ownership model. The government should incentivize the use of RRSPs and other methods to help Canadians leverage their own funds to purchase a home, such as perhaps an increased basic personal tax exemption for young people seeking to enter the market. Many communities across Canada are also part of the missing middle. They don't qualify for rural funding streams or urban-focused initiatives and have once again been overlooked. Like many regions in Canada, my riding of Mission-Matsqui-Fraser Canyon and the District of Mission fall into this category. My office is adjacent to Haven in the Hollow, a temporary shelter that serves a permanent clientele base suffering from severe addiction and mental health issues. The Liberal government announced a plan to reduce chronic homelessness by 50% in 2017, which they have since doubled down on and promised a complete elimination. But there's been no actual progress. The Haven is expanding because Mission's homeless population has doubled, compounded largely by the ongoing fentanyl crisis facing British Columbia. While the expansion of Haven in the Hollow is necessary, the increased homeless population is challenging for the neighboring small businesses attempting to get back on their feet and move on past COVID-19. In British Columbia, we've had 4 times the number of deaths from fentanyl overdoses than COVID-19. How then does this all relate back to housing? And what can and should the federal government be doing about it? As a British Columbian and as a Canadian, I believe in our duty to care for our vulnerable citizens, a duty that governments of all stripes have missed the mark on. But simply caring for and addressing the symptoms of homelessness is unsustainable. Real action must be taken to address the underlying causes. For instance, we know that money laundering from the legal drug trade has artificially inflated housing costs. The primary method criminals use is even named the Vancouver model, for goodness sake. Young people across British Columbia, even those making a good living, 6-figure salaries, can no longer afford homes in the communities they were raised in, and they've lost hope of reaching home ownership. COVID-19 has only compounded these difficulties. Jobs have been lost, hours have been cut, and parents have been forced to make impossible health decisions. La maison était toujours beaucoup plus qu'une place pour se poser la tête, mais COVID-19 a intensifié son usage multifonctionnel. La maison est maintenant une place où nous travaillons, étudions, enseignons à nos enfants et essayons de faire reprise de nos vies occupées. Quand nos espaces de habitation ne peuvent pas accueillir ces activités, nous désespérons et nous sentons emprisonnés. Comme un gouvernement en étant, les conservateurs vont prioriser que l'ascension à la propriété soit possible et que les Canadiens auront plus d'options et d'espoir pour atteindre leur but. Why has the Liberal government not put in place the legislative, regulatory, and enforcement measures necessary to stop money laundering through the real estate market, which Vancouver has become famous for? Canadians deserve to be on a level playing field, not competing for housing with global elite looking to park their millions and use our tax advantage in a safe country. While I admit trying to solve the money laundering issue won't solve all of our housing challenges, it is an important start for many British Columbians who've lost hope. In January 2019, the Canadian Revenue Agency provided an all-party briefing where they acknowledged that while their risk-based auditing methods were augmented, little had changed on the front end to prevent money laundering and tax avoidance, save for signing an attestation declaring one's primary residence and citizenship. Criminals don't follow the law, Mr. Speaker, and CRA must revise its approach that's relying on the honor system. As parliamentarians, we have the responsibility to ensure that government policies and programs work for our primary clients, the taxpayers and citizens of Canada. Le gouvernement fédéral devra réexaminer son rôle, spécialement en matière de juridiction partagée comme logement. There needs to be a shift as well from an Ottawa knows best approach to a service delivery model. And here's a real-world example. Last week I spoke to the chair of the Mission Sustainable Housing Community about the Liberals' recently touted $300 million housing supply challenge, which incidentally is not yet open. She doesn't want another application process to maybe receive some funding.
I thought that was a 2-minute clip, and it turned out to be, I wasn't even halfway through it, so we're going to stop it there. But that's our MP in action, so thank you, Brad. And that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. So, Scott Osterhout, if you are watching, we hope that you are doing well wherever you are. And everybody have yourselves a fantastic weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday. Stay safe.